thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Senator Sullivan. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. I've got a real quick question. I signed on to a letter to you all about the impact the vaccine mandate is going to have. And I want to get down, and I suspect you're busy. We may not get a response to that letter in the time that we may feel some of the impact. So can you give me some sense of, with both agencies now, I think, in or near the window to get the first phase of the vaccine, if you're doing a two-phase vaccine, can you give me an idea operationally where we're going to be in terms of people who are not vaccinated? And then secondly, what will be the policy for the unvaccinated? Will it be a separation, an unpaid leave of absence? What personnel policies are you giving out now? I assume that the departments have spent time on this because it's imminent and its impact on the labor force. And Mr. Remy, we'll start with you, and then Mr. Cisneros will go to you.
Thank you, Senator Tillis. We're at a point now where we're still gathering the data with respect to the responses to the surveys and the gathering of information around vaccinations. We have around 85% response rate for all of our employees that we've asked to provide information with respect to vaccinations, and we're continuing to gather more information that's coming in regularly.
So, Mr. Remy, I'm sorry to interrupt. 85% response rate, is that responding that they have been vaccinated, or just responding with a status of either vaccinated or unvaccinated?
I'm sorry, I should have been clearer. That's just responding to the survey of that group. We're gathering the data on how many have been vaccinated, how many have not been vaccinated, and why they fall into that category. What we're also doing, and if you may recall, our process started a little earlier for our VHA employees, who are those individuals that are providing healthcare services to veterans. And we've started our process in terms of what happens if they don't get vaccinated. Your question there of providing counseling and information to them. We have a progressive discipline process that, at the end of that process could result in separation from employment. But at this stage, what we're doing is we're providing counseling and information and education to those individuals who have indicated that they have been vaccinated, or to those people who haven't responded to the survey.
Okay, Mr. Cisneros?
Senator, our response is very similar to Mr. Remy's. Right now we are gathering the information as far as our civilian workforce, who's been vaccinated. We've created a form. We have got a process for them to get online in order to go and to register, in order to have them input that so the supervisor can approve it. Just as Mr. Remy said with the VA, we do kind of have a process as well for those that will not get the vaccine, a form of counseling that they have to, and then also different steps along the way as far as there may be a suspension before there may actually be termination.
I'm sorry, I do want to get to a couple of other policy questions. I think if you game this out, I met with a major defense contractor yesterday, and they're looking at either a high single digit or mid double digit reduction in force as a result of it. And I would guess that even after the counseling and the outreach, we are talking about a pretty significant potential reduction in force or leave of absence, whatever you come up with. So I'd be very interested in getting a response to the letter to see how we deal with that operationally. Mr. Cisneros, I did want to ask you a question about the individual longitudinal exposure record and how important that is for information, health information that's in the DOD that could be very helpful if that information is available to the veteran with respect to toxic exposures. Is the system on track to receive or to achieve full capability by the September 23 date?
Senator, I know with the EILER program, the individual can go and they can request from a medical professional to see that form in order that will enable them to kind of have access to it in order to see it. I believe that the program it is on track. It is on track right now, but that is a program that we will continue to work on and continue to improve to ensure that individuals have access to their information.
Okay, well, since the chair was gracious to recognize me, I'm not going to go over, but Mr. Remy and Mr. Cisneros, I will be submitting some questions for the record. One of them relates to the separation health assessments, and I got a couple of other things on collaborations with nonprofits with the VA, but I'll submit those for the record. Thank you, Chair.